Hello everyone, welcome back. We have got a new episode on the cards. We're doing Ted's car. Ted's my good friend, he's come to stay for a few days. We've got his EP3, like the second car of the team.
The fastest, but not the second.
Yeah. So the other car of the Motor Spirit team that we've got going, so the EG6 has been moved out of her home. She's not very happy about it, but she's got a misfire. She's pissing me off so she can get the fuck out. So this week we're going to work on Ted's car. Like I say, we've got it until Wednesday. Today's Monday, so we've got 3 days of hard graft. And what are we going to do in these 3 days?
The car's been under a cover for 7 months now, so it's looking a bit tatty and worn. So we're going to give it a bit of a spruce up and tidy it up a bit.
Yeah.
The main jobs though are removing the ABS system. I've got a whole new ABS delete kit to go on, which is all braided lines by Hell. So that'll be pretty cool. And they'll be mated to these little bad boys.
Sexy Wilwood Calipers.
Big ass calipers for
What are they called?
stoppings. Dynalights. Yeah. Dynalights, which I got for a good price, which I'm pretty happy with, but hopefully. The only issue I'm going to have is I'm running 16-inch wheels and we're not 100% sure if they're going to fit, but fingers crossed. We just have to. Yeah. So yeah, we've got the brake kit to go on. I've got some aluminium to put on the inside of the door for new door cards because I think it looks a bit crap without them, to be honest. A couple of small bits and pieces to do, and then hopefully when we've got time, vinyl the rear end. So it looks
blue ass.
Yeah, so it looks blue and a bit teeny.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. So today we're going to crack on with pulling out the ABS and running the new brake lines and hopefully getting these badass brakes on the car. Badass. Why do I keep saying it like that?
Arse.
Badass. Got these awesome floating discs, which means there should potentially be no brake fade whatsoever because the discs can expand and contract as they get hot. And I'm quite excited to see how this setup comes together, really, and a little bit jealous. Not only is his car mega fast, because he's got a disgustingly short final drive. What is it? 5.1?
5.86.
5.86.
It's fast.
Disgusting.
Fast, quickly.
Right, so we're going to pull out the ABS. You can watch us do that for a bit, and we'll catch up in a bit. So there is a nice petite ABS unit, much smaller than it is on my EG6. We're going to pull that out, run some braided lines off the master cylinder, so a standard sort of split front, split rear setup with a nice, sexy, well there it is, Tilton Bias valve to the back of the car. Yummy. Yeah, so what we'll do now is we're going to pull out the ABS unit, get rid of as much of the brake lines as we can. Well, in fact, it's all got to come out. So we'll get all the brake lines off, and then we'll look at running the lines off the master cylinder through. Has your brake line's got a brake in it for your bias valve?
The bias valve?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think so, but probably.
Maybe it'd be a good idea if we mapped out these brake lines first,
Yeah.
and we'll go from there. Right, that's the ABS unit out, so we've still got to remove all these lines and try and do the wiring, but it's also part of the headlight loom, so see how that goes. There it is, the little unit there, probably weighs about 2 kilos. And then we're just checking that the discs and the caliper will fit inside the wheel, and they do, plenty of room. Get your fingers behind there, and that's not going to be a nice little setup. How big are them discs, do you know?
12 inches.
12-inch rotors.
Yup.
Cool, so we're going to crack on with getting the lines out. Ted's going to pull off the calipers, the old ones, and yeah, that's going to take some time, so we'll stick with that one for now. Right, that is the brake lines removed from the master cylinder. Now, if you do this job, one thing to bear in mind is that if you bleed this master cylinder dry of all its fluid, it's a bitch to re-bleed it. It's not the end of the world, but you need to put your finger on the end of the outputs and it sort of sucks the fluid through, otherwise you'll just be pumping air and it won't actually pull any of the fluid down from the reservoir. So if you can, luckily I've got these sweet little plastic bungs that are threaded and they screw in with rubber O-ring and they'll stop all that fluid coming out. So what I can do is keep a bit of fluid in the reservoir and we can just plug the brake pipe straight on now, and we don't have to worry about bleeding the master cylinder before we can bleed the whole system, so it just save a little bit of time. Just a useful thing to have, really. The front brakes are in, the ABS has been removed, the front braided lines are on, so I'm just working my way to the rear via the bias valve. So we've got from the master cylinder to the front end running round. Because these lines to each side left and right are so short, I've had to run them along the sort of lower strut brace. We're going to strap them down to the strut brace, put a bit of heat shielding in to protect it from the manifold, because obviously that's not ideal. I've riv nutted into the strut brace to put the T-piece in, and that's all secured, so we've just got to secure them brake lines down. And then looking down, oh, you can see Ted's put on the brakes, all looking pretty smart. We've got to swap the discs around though, so the wrong way around. And that's that. Then coming inside the car, we've got, so we used a nice bulkhead fitting, if you can see that just there. So we've bulkhead fitting there with the brake line coming inside the car, running down, and there you see the bias valve. So we're going to mount this somewhere. I don't know whether to raise it up a little bit or just floor mount it. And then again, where we was too short in the front brake lines, we're too long for this centre rear to the rear brake line. And yeah, so here's the rear line, and it comes all the way out here. So I'm gonna have to route it along behind the seat, up the rear quarter and into the centre here, and hopefully won't have too much slack, and then we can run the left and right rear brake lines down the ABS holes to the rear calipers, and that will be the brake lines and brake side of life done. We'll just have to obviously bleed it all, and that'll be it really. Not too bad. Ted's just what are you doing there, Ted?
Rectifying my faux pas.
Yeah, so he's just swapping the discs around. Need to jack up the rear of the car, get the wheels off, so I can start running the rear brake lines. So that's where we're at. So we'll see in a bit. Right, that's just done for day one. That's Monday done. So yeah, got the front brake lines done. The sweet Wilwood brakes fitted. That's what they're called. And got it through inside the car. So we got the bias valve fitted. I made a little L bracket. We just got a P-clip down the line running to the rear. I've already mounted the T-piece in there and just drilled a few holes to pass it through to the back. So all we've got to do is pass the brake lines down through the ABS holes. We've already passed this one through, and then route it up and round and plug it all in. Then we'll just P-clip it all down, make sure it all is nice and straight so it doesn't flex. I don't know if you remember in a previous episode I mentioned about how the lines can flex if they're not P-clipped down. So we'll do that, and then we'll bleed it, and that'll be the brakes done. So not too bad. So yeah, hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye. Bye bye, Ted.
Bye bye.